All right, we are now recording, and
Okay.
soon I will say, welcome to Inchworm.
But that wasn't it.
No, it wasn't the right intonation. Welcome to Inchworm.
The podcast in which we're inching through Worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted.
This time we read Buzz 7.2.
Buzz, buzz, buzz.
I like that the arc is called Buzz because we had to say buzz a lot.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a short chapter and a sweet chapter.
I loved this chapter. I just want more of this chapter. This was great.
Yeah. It's so nice, these early arc chapters before the inevitable conflict crops up.
I do feel like I'm starting to get a sense for that rhythm, yeah.
Yeah.
You get like a few chapters at the beginning of the arc where they get to do like interpersonal stuff and bonding.
And sometimes incredibly traumatic meetings with school administrators.
God. But this was not that. This was a great chapter.
Yeah, well, do you want me to tell you what happened?
Yeah.
We pick up where we left off with Taylor joining Bitch in a normal workday. So they head to Bitch's dog warehouse, and Taylor reflects that Rachel's in her element. As they're approaching the warehouse, Angelica isn't behaving exactly properly, and so Bitch has to take some time to train her. And Bitch is like, is Taylor going to get annoyed that we keep stopping? But Taylor's chill, and Bitch trains Angelica, and that's great. Taylor also asks a little bit about Angelica's history, and when they get to the warehouse, there are between 10 and 20 dogs living there, and they sort of mob Bitch and Taylor as they enter. All types of breeds and sizes of dog, and Taylor's a little overwhelmed by the dogs rushing up to her. In particular, the dogs start fighting with each other. They're getting a little aggressive, and she thinks back to when Bitch had her dogs attack her, and she doesn't like that. But she uses her power a little bit to calm herself, and she learns from Bitch that one of the newer dogs is Sirius. He's not that well trained yet. He's one of the ones who's being a little more aggressive, and Taylor suddenly realizes that her power is registering movement that is very unbug-like. In fact, it's very dog-like, and what she's sensing are worms inside of Sirius's body. Taylor's able to, with Bitch's sort of veterinary knowledge, determine that it is heartworm, and in fact he has a pretty bad case of it, and Bitch is really upset because the people who had him before should have been
The shelter, yeah.
Yeah, the shelter that had him before should have been giving him medicine. Bitch is like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, help me out. They tie Sirius up so that Bitch can use her power on him. He's not well trained enough for that to be particularly safe, so they really have to lock him down with chains. But what we learn is that Bitch's power, something about the way that it transforms them, breaks down parasites that are inside the dogs. So Taylor, using her power, is able to tell sort of oh, well, it's been going long enough. We've basically removed all of the heartworm from Sirius. It seems like it's going really well. They need to give Sirius about 15 minutes to shrink back down to size. And Bitch is like, okay, well, we did that. Now, I guess, why don't you go shovel the dog shit outside? And Taylor's been very accommodating with Bitch so far in this chapter, really letting her take the lead. But this is too much. She immediately snaps back with a fuck you, standing up for herself, saying, I'm here to help, but as an equal, right? If you're going to shovel poop, I'll do it, but I'm not going to, do these awful jobs that you don't want to do. You can't boss me around like that. And they have a little bit of a standoff where there's some intense eye contact, and Bitch breaks first, and the moment passes, and Taylor's like, okay, maybe I'll get us some food. Is there a place around here that's, good to pick up some lunch? She's not kind of sure, is Bitch gonna snap back or get mad, but Bitch is like, okay, yeah, pick me up something that has meat in it. And Taylor goes, leaving Bitch behind with Sirius. And that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, I was just so fascinated by all of the Taylor-Bitch interactions.
Yeah. I talked about it a little bit, but like that is kind of all there is to analyze, so I didn't want to put too much of it in the summary. There's some really nice moments.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so fascinating. Like, Bitch has been a fascination to me from the beginning, and she was sort of this mystery, and I had all these theories. And now that we know what's going on with her, like, I feel like I'm even more interested.
Yeah.
like the mystery box was open, and I'm like, ooh, what was inside was really cool. And I'm particularly fascinated, like, right at the beginning of the chapter, you mentioned this in your summary, Taylor is observing Bitch walking with the dogs, and it's like, oh, she does seem more relaxed. Like, the lines of her face are softer. There's less tension in her body. And Taylor has the thought, she says, I'd sort of assumed that her days of being homeless and fending for herself were the bad days to her, that it was a step up being with us. I was beginning to reconsider whether that was entirely true. Like, yeah, actually thinking about it, like, when she was homeless, living on the streets, probably with some dogs, that was probably great for her. She didn't have to interact with humans. I mean, there would have been severe disadvantages in terms, like, she probably had to interact with cops who were, like, chasing her out of places. And I mean, obviously, being on the streets would be very difficult in itself, but, like, she might have preferred that to having to navigate social interactions.
Yeah.
And it does make you wonder, like, why she would be an undersider then if this is worse for her. And I bet it is because it gives her the resources to take care of these dogs.
Right.
Like, this is the best job she can get.
Right.
And she puts up with her coworkers.
Yeah, exactly. It is, she's working for the weekend in a way that the other undersiders, it's like a little bit more of their identity is tied up in it.
Right. Her work is with the dogs. She's just undersiding to get the money to take care of the dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and there probably are, like, certainly from what we know of her childhood, right, that time was better than being in foster care, and the undersiders are super annoying, and other than Taylor, don't really know how to interact with her. So that totally makes sense. I'm hoping that if a friendship develops, she finds something there that would be worthwhile to her. But it's really nice to keep in mind the sort of, like, it might not be the type of relationship you'd expect or something. Like, you know, she might not want a, like, bestie to gossip with.
Yeah, but I do think she probably wants a friend. You know, I don't know that she would say that, but I think if she were able to build a good connection with Taylor, I think that would be something she would want and appreciate and get something out of. Yeah, I don't think it would look like Taylor's friendship with Emma in middle school.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and I really enjoy seeing, again, all in Taylor here. She's just so game to let Bitch take the lead. And I think just, like, her patience and general perceptiveness is such an asset to her here.
Yes.
Because there's so many times when, if she were not paying attention to what is going on, like a little flip comment or something would have set Bitch off. And Taylor's just really chill, really going with the flow, and keyed into letting Bitch take the lead. They have this, like, it's almost a reverse of the neuter situation where Bitch just starts bossing her around when they're going to do this medical intervention.
Yeah, true.
Taylor's totally happy to go along with it.
Yeah.
It's just the little status fight at the end when Taylor feels like she has to stand up for herself.
Yeah.
Which is, it totally makes sense. And it's a good gamble, like, working with Bitch. Taylor wants to maintain status as an equal, right? She doesn't want to be above Bitch in the hierarchy, but she wants to be a teammate.
She refuses to let Bitch put herself above her. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is such a nice way for her to handle it.
Yeah. She does make conscious decisions to avoid making herself look weak. But then when they do the staring contest, basically, and Taylor has the thought, like, okay, I think eye contact is big with dogs, like looking away would be submission. So she refuses to look away, even though all of her instincts are telling her to. Mm-hmm. And Bitch looks away first because Sirius whimpers and Bitch gets distracted. And Taylor uses that opportunity to offer to go get food for them, which I think is just such a nice equalizing thing of like, like, okay, Taylor won that interaction, sort of circumstantially, but she did win that interaction. But she is choosing a different kind of service to the two of them that they both benefit from.
And the little nuance with the end where she's like, okay, well, Bitch knows the area, so I'm going to be like, okay, well, where should I go? And then she's like, no, that's too much. That's
too, like, submissive. Like, tell me where to go.
Yeah, tell me where to go. And she's like, is she going to take that the wrong way? But it's like, no, it's like, that's good. It's putting the entire thing on her.
It's a really funny line, like, tell me where to go, because it's an order. And Taylor's like, I hope she doesn't mind me giving her an order. But it's also an order asking for another order, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, instruct me. Like, you give me a command.
Yeah. I really liked that as a way of managing that dynamic. And right before that, she calls her Rachel.
Yes, very consciously. She says, like, bitch, Rachel. That's interesting because bitch does seem to use her name, at least everyone else uses her name, like, in a way that, like, maybe the others don't. Like, she seems to identify with her name. Maybe I'm just reading into that because Taylor calls her that in the narration.
Right.
But like we were saying in the Brutus interlude, like, bitch basically chose to be called dog.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, does she prefer Rachel? Or is bitch sort of her chosen name in a way that, like, you know, Skitter isn't Taylor's new name. It's just her cape name.
Right. Yeah.
But I do wonder if, I don't know. I don't think we have enough information from bitch/Rachel to know.
Right. She's certainly indifferent to what people call her for the most part. I guess that's not true at all, because she
doesn't like
talks
Hellhound.
back to Armsmaster in that one scene. But my point is she's fine with bitch. She doesn't seem to object to Rachel, but it would be interesting if she preferred it. You're right, though, that Taylor has made the in-costume, out-of-costume distinction with the rest of the Undersiders in her narration. But bitch has always been bitch. Yeah.
And even after she says Rachel, it's still bitch in the narration.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is funny, the bitch versus hellhound thing. Like, bitch is a swear word. It's used as an insult, but it can also just mean dog.
Right.
Whereas hellhound is always I guess hellhounds aren't a real thing, you know, you could interpret them in different ways. But this idea of, like, oh, you're from hell is, like, actually more insulting than just like, oh, you're a female dog. Yep, you love dogs. You identify with dogs. Sure. Like, no, you're from hell.
That's so funny.
One of my favorite parts for the, Taylor perceptiveness thing is bitch is talking about her dogs, which this part is also cool, that she's used her power on most of them, like, just a little bit to keep them healthy, which, what a cool side effect of the power, first of all.
I know.
She has dog healing powers. Well, she's like panacea for dogs.
Yeah, well, to me what it is, it's another Animorphs thing, which is morphing as healing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No,
she morphs them just a little bit so that they're healed, but then goes back to their original bodies.
Yeah, like when Margot had rabies.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so really cool use of her power. Bitch says, the only one, Sirius is the first one she's made this big since Angelica, Brutus, Judas, and Rollo. And Taylor almost asks who Rollo is and then doesn't. She says, it was a habit of mine I found that I usually pushed a conversation with bitch too far, gave her an excuse to get pissed at me. I could prioritize other things over my curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, just what? I'm so impressed because I'm terrible at conversational restraint. That's why our podcast episodes are so long. This thing where she's in sort of this uncomfortable interpersonal situation and she is curious, but she's consciously able to be like, no, I shouldn't ask this question. I usually do this where I say too much. And we have already talked about how, like, bitch doesn't communicate well via words.
Yeah.
So this restraint is really crucial.
It's also so interesting. She's so tongue-tied around Brian. She doesn't know what to do in that situation. And here, she does have a strong sense of what she's trying to do. Like, she doesn't have to make small talk with bitch, so maybe that helps because she's talked about it. It can be hard for her to come up with what to say.
Hold back.
But she's just so in control of the social situation and how she fits into it.
Right. And she doesn't exactly know what to do at every turn, but she's, like, navigating it consciously.
Yeah. And I guess she reflects when she says fuck you to bitch at the end, it is instinctual, right?
That's true,
she
actually.
Sort of loses
she
her
says,
temper a little bit.
You know, the words spilled out of my mouth before I could censor them. I wasn't positive I wanted to censor them, but it bugged me that I'd done it without thinking it through.
Yeah.
Which is a thing she's done around Bitch before. Like,
Yeah.
when she went to fight her, she was, like, halfway across the room before she was like, oh, no, I can attack her.
Yeah.
And she had done that movement sort of, unconsciously, without intention.
Right. But, she does a good job of not escalating things.
Yeah. And she figures out she, like, saves Sirius.
I know.
Bitch wouldn't have known.
It is amazing. Like, it's so fun to see a creative power synergy like this.
Yes, not in combat, just,
Yeah, it's just so exciting. Just the reveal of, like, what's going on and the fact that it's Taylor's power, but Bitch is really taking the lead on the diagnosis and what they have to do about it. The character beat of Bitch is so angry at the system.
I have to wonder, because she does say, I warned them. I was like, what's she going to do to this shelter? Like, she's going to wreck some stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, poor Sirius, he's like the new dog, and he's like fighting with the others a little. It's so funny. Bitch says, like, the other dogs, like, he'll calm down once I've trained him a little, and the other dogs socialize him, which so fascinating. Like, I feel like we don't really ever deal in the real world with, like, large groups of dogs. Like, usually a family will maybe have a couple dogs max, maybe a few,
right?
But like they're still sort of in the family structure. They're not like
the idea that the pack will do its own social management.
And Bitch is doing guidance and sort of helping. Yeah, so poor Sirius is like still figuring it out, and then
and she talks about how Angelica is going to learn from the other dogs.
Angelica is still like leaping eagerly to get ahead when she smells the other dogs.
Yeah.
This whole setup that Bitch has is so impressive, that she's managed to get these dogs living, like, happily and healthily together. And, like, I guess she's feeding them regularly. They have, like, an area where they use the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's not just, like, a total mess. Because I was wondering, I was like, how is it going to be?
Yeah, no, right. I mean, it's good. The warehouse is very...
It is kind of falling apart.
Derelict.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not that stable of a situation. And also...
This is what Coil could help with.
It's unclear. It doesn't seem like there's more than one warehouse, right? This at least, there was no suggestion.
Just one warehouse.
There was no suggestion that this was the first stop on the route. I don't know.
No, that's a good point. It probably is. Like, why would you have more than one warehouse?
But so I wonder if her ambition, there probably couldn't be 50 dogs in this warehouse. So
there could be. I mean,
well, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I sort of thought there were like 50 dogs, but I guess maybe there was a number.
My guess is that what Coil could bring to this operation is scale.
Yeah,
I would posit that 50 or 100 dogs in this one warehouse is not going to be that sustainable, and that managing multiple ones might start to get harder for Bitch. But I don't know. Maybe she does have 3 or 4, and this is only one of them, and that's how she's managed to do it. So Coil could help, maybe, but we don't trust him. So, and Coil doesn't come up once in the chapter.
No, as Taylor promised, she doesn't bring up Coil.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, I do think it's sometimes a little bit like weird to be like, oh, we had a whole chapter where we didn't mention that huge thing that's going on. And we've seen that before, where she's kind of alternated between Cape and school life. Mm-hmm. And I think it's actually like pretty effective in that it can get so easy as a writer, especially when you're like writing this long thing, to be like, ooh, do the readers remember about this? I should make sure to put something in it. And you can just get really repetitive. And
yeah.
Obviously, we remember Coil.
Right.
So, yeah, he's good at not putting in too much repetitive introspection or exposition.
Yeah.
But yeah, Coil could really help with this. But Bitch is the one saying no. We'll see how this changes. I do think, like, even though Taylor did annoy Bitch with the, like, fuck you thing and sort of the battle of wills, I think that Bitch probably respected that, is my guess. And then, Taylor brought it to a good place. It didn't erupt into a fight.
Absolutely. And I think what we learned from their first fight is that Bitch, in that case, Bitch lost, but she respected Taylor after that, right? Yeah. She was looking for ways to angle her status back up afterwards, right? But she reads the room very effectively, and I think Taylor did a good job of saying, no, we're going to stay equals for now. Yeah.
Especially because, like, Taylor had sort of put herself in, like, given Bitch this position of power over her by saying, like, I'm going to come along, but if I annoy you, you can punch me.
Yeah.
And this, I think, was a way of her being like, no, but I'm not, like, your servant here.
Yeah, and we haven't said it, I think, but then Bitch is like, well, I can punch you, and what Taylor says is, if you do it now for this reason, I'll punch back. Right.
And Bitch is like, I have Brutus, I can win. And Taylor's like, she's probably right, but I refuse to. Yeah, and then Taylor wins the standoff because Bitch gets distracted.
Yeah.
But I love that, like, Taylor saves the dog, as we've said, and I think Bitch is going to be grateful for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they work together to do a cool thing. Like, I don't think Bitch is gonna, like, be vindictive after all of
No,
this.
I mean, at least I hope not.
Yeah.
There was one really interesting paragraph where Taylor uses her power. So she gets assaulted by this tide of dogs and is feeling very spooked. You know, she had been attacked before and maybe that was a little traumatizing. But then she says this. Shutting my eyes, I drew on my power. My objective wasn't to do anything with it, but simply to get a little outside my own head, achieve a greater perspective, focusing on the big picture, seeing myself as a very small figure against the backdrop of a whole neighborhood. I was able to center myself. I could ignore the hairy animals shoving up against my legs, jumping up and around me, pressing their cold noses against my hands and arms.
What a psychological skill to be able to do that in any situation, to be so able to sort of disperse your consciousness on like a larger scale so that you can gain perspective.
Yeah. It's just a really interesting technique. Like, I would never think of using your bug viewfinder as a way to self-soothe.
Right, yes.
Right. It's fascinating. And it's compared to, like, you know, in the first arc, she, like, just gets creeped out by the thought of them.
Oh, true.
Right?
She's, like, having trouble controlling it and sort of tuning into her power as a sign of lack of control, and now she's using it to help herself keep control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
cool. It really works both ways. Yeah. It also strikes me, we had talked a bit about Coil's plan for the city being he's the type of person who kind of like takes a step back and sees things from a greater perspective. And I don't know that we mentioned at the time that that's what Taylor's power lets her do, right? Assuming that there are bugs, she can also always take a step back and see things from a greater perspective.
Yeah, so are humans Coil's bugs?
Right, exactly. Exactly. But I mean, it would be nice, you know, Taylor can genuinely control the bugs, and it remains to be seen how in control of the situation Coil is. Yeah.
Somehow.
Has
he determined that Taylor and Rachel will be friends? Is that why they're going to be
what
friends?
If his power is just that he can control coins?
That would be so funny.
Right?
But Tattletale would know. She could be lying, but she would know.
Yeah. Maybe Tattletale is the boss. And Coil is just a front.
She hired Coil.
He's an actor.
Oh my god, yeah. So he wears that costume. He's like, I don't want my real face associated with this role.
Oh man.
That would be amazing. I know it's not true because you wouldn't have said it if it was true. Also, like, what a crack theory. Like,
the other thematic thing in this chapter that I thought was interesting is, I mean, obviously, right, but when they are helping Sirius, they have to fully restrain him, and he doesn't know what's happening, right? Yeah. It's another example of, like, people being put into this position of helplessness and sort of, like, powers being used. You know, it's the kind of situation, because he's a dog, he can't really consent or anything, but we've had a bunch of beats of sort of this, like, helplessness thing. And in this case, it is obviously for the greater good and for Sirius's own good. Yes. And it totally, no one would sort of object to doing this. But
it is funny that Sirius is being made more powerful, and therefore he has to be restrained. He has to be made powerless because he's more powerful, which is what we've seen with the capes and the birdcage as well. Yeah. Like, with great power comes great people coming along to restrain your power.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, back, you know, reducing your freedom below where it would have been if you just never had powers in the first place.
Right.
Ugh, I love Bitch. She's great. I love that she's doing this for the dogs. And I feel like her aggression is just so easily explained by her power, and I really want them to connect.
Well, they are.
They are.
They're connecting great.
It's happening. I feel like in this chapter we finally put the worm into Worm.
Oh, it is the most prominent worm so far.
Yeah, it's the most
undeniably true.
Worms. Yeah, I don't even know if I have any other thoughts. Like, this is a pretty quick one.
It is a short and sweet chapter, as I said.
Oh, I did want to just say, I'm so curious. Bitch sends Taylor off to get Greek food. She says there's a Greek food stand if you walk in the direction of the boardwalk. You'll smell it before you see it. Will Taylor smell it before she sees it? Or does Bitch actually have enhanced smell and maybe she doesn't even know it?
I love this theory. That's incredible.
Yeah, I feel like it's just something to keep an eye on. It might be the text doesn't even answer that question, but
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
I guess she'll come back with the food. I don't know if there's like more antics to happen in this warehouse. It would be pretty remarkable if they got attacked in a warehouse full of untrained dogs and Bitch was there. Like, that would be a really, really fascinating situation. So I want that to happen.
Is that a moral dilemma for Bitch about whether she would use her power on untrained dogs again?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
It's also a practical dilemma, right? Because if she uses her power on untrained dogs, they could also attack Taylor. I mean, they probably wouldn't attack her because they know her. Like, she's sort of the one who takes care of them, but they don't really know Taylor, so...
So tell me more about the scenario. Why would this happen?
Who are their enemies right now? Well, the ABB is pretty much out of commission. Oni Lee wasn't even up for rescuing his co-leaders. I mean... Uber and Lee want revenge. That would be pretty dumb. Triple E could, like, Kaiser could... But, like, why would Kaiser come after them and not, like, Coil's gang? Like, they're such nobodies still. Could be the heroes would. But the heroes are, like, pretty destroyed right now. I guess no one was really damaged except for Armsmaster and Dauntless. Is that guy? Yeah. So, it could be... Like, it's really unlikely. Could be a surprise element.
A surprise element?
I don't know. Anything can happen in this story. I would just love to see that fight. It would be so fascinating to see like what Bitch would choose to do.
Yeah.
And like some of her dogs are better trained than others, I think. Obviously none of them are as well trained as her 3 that she fights with, but like she does train the other dogs.
That's true.
Just not to the same level. So there might be some she does feel comfortable growing, but it's tough. Yeah, tough call.
Well, yeah. Hope to see that next time.
I don't really think we're going to, but I would love to, just because I think it would be so interesting.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, it's not going to tell you much, but the next chapter starts. I was nervous, returning to Bitch's spot.
With the food.
Yeah, so it's going to go, we haven't immediately left. We haven't immediately left the scene. So yeah. Your theory could still happen.
I hope there are some good Taylor Bitch or Taylor Rachel interactions. I don't know if the narration will change to calling her Rachel. We'll see. But yeah, I hope there's some genuine connection there.
Love it.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Next time.
On Inchworm.
Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.